The fact that we are here at a college and Advent occurs in December at the end of the semester, with final exams coming, preparation for final exams, all that is the perfect framework to approach the season of Advent. Of course, we hear that word Advent and we think Christmas. And Christmas means this thing that happened 2,000 years ago, the coming of Christ in the flesh at Bethlehem. But Advent and Christmas means something more than just remembering what has happened, that first coming of Christ. There's a second coming. There is a second coming and a kind of final exam, capital F, capital E, the final exam. Every Sunday at Mass, in the Creed we say, "He will come again in glory to judge the living and the dead." And so especially those first weeks of Advent, those first Sundays of Advent, we're thinking about preparation for not his first coming, but his second coming, when he will come again and he will be our judge and our savior. And so we have to be ready for that, whether it's, we know not the date or the time, we don't know the time of this final exam, but we still need to prepare for it and prepare well. And despite that fact, and because of that fact, really, Advent is this time where we're encouraged to think about the fact that we will meet him. Not just in the cradle at Bethlehem, but as our judge and our savior at the end of our lives, at the end of time. And so final exams, preparation for them, it's the perfect kind of opportunity to think about the most important final exam, where we'll be judged on our love, how well we have loved, how selfless we have been with others, and in the time we've given to him. There's such rich symbolism in Advent. The one that really, I think, comes to mind first for everyone is that Advent wreath, which is this profound symbol of life and light. Especially in these days where everything is dying outside, the days are so short, there's such darkness. You have the rich green of the evergreen there as the base for the Advent wreath, and then you have those four candles. And as we approach the coming of Christmas, more and more light comes from there. It's this great sign and symbol of preparation and expectation and hope. So growing up, my family, for Advent at the dinner table, we would cut off all the lights and just eat by the light of the Advent wreath that we had there in the middle of the table. And so as the days were growing darker, there was more and more light every week by which to eat. And so by the fourth Sunday of Advent, that fourth week of Advent, there's the most light that we'll see. And then the Christmas dinner where we flip on the lights and receive that full light of Christ. So there's the Advent wreath itself is an extraordinary symbol of the life of Christ that he wants to give us, and that light, that illumination, especially in the darkness. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. Of course, Advent is not Lent. We don't start Advent with ashes and a reminder that we're going to die. But it is nevertheless a season of preparation. And preparation means self-sacrifice, penance. There are Advent penance services, and it's time to be reconciled to the Lord. The real way to enjoy something is, the world says, enjoy Christmas from like November 1st to December 25th and it's over. For us, it's, no, get ready, prepare for Christmas from, the first Sunday of Advent through to Christmas Day, and then enjoy it. And so the best way we can observe it, I think, is to make some small sacrifice, whether it's no eggnog, no gingerbread cookies until Christmas Day, as many glorious parties as we'll have, faculty parties, all staff parties here on campus within the season of Advent. But still, some self-sacrifice, some self-denial that then becomes a real source of joy and participating in the joy of Christmas when it really comes on the 25th. It definitely has. Of course, the students especially have a new opportunity to encounter a lot of the traditions here at the college with a new eyes and a fresh perspective and a deeper appreciation. So I'm thinking especially of that tree lighting ceremony at Slave and Lawn and Lessons and Carols. You know, those are two great events. We didn't have them in person last year. So for freshmen and sophomores, it's something they've never experienced before. And for upperclassmen and for the rest of us here who've been at the college, it's something we return to and appreciate with a new perspective, with a new gratitude for those things. I've been talking to students about don't let COVID fatigue turn into Christmas fatigue. You know, save something, make something special of this Christmas in particular. I grew up in New Bedford, Massachusetts, right down the road, and one of our Christmas traditions, Christmas Eve, was always after the Vigil Mass, going to visit family at an aunt and uncle's house out in the woods in Mattapoisett, nearby town. And you know, the strongest and most meaningful memory I have of Christmases as a child was having had the joy of seeing all my extended family eating a lot of kielbasa, we're Polish. It was the drive back from the woods in Mattapoisett back to my parents' house, our family home in New Bedford, and just the stillness, the quiet, the darkness, the peace of those rural roads. Late in the night, knowing full well when I got home and I woke up the next morning, it would be a day of joy and many gifts, and just this, just a deep spirit of joyful expectation and hope, and that's what sticks with me the most. My wish for us is that we be given the grace to more deeply appreciate the role of divine providence in our lives. It's an incredible thing. I think what gives me the most joy here on campus is helping students discover God's providence in their lives, their loving plan for them, His loving plan for them. And there's something about the connection, the name of our school. It's not just about the city, but about this attribute of God that we have come from God, where we're returning to God, and He has a unique plan for you, for your happiness throughout your life. And He tends to make it occur in pretty dramatic ways for a lot of students. It happened for me starting as a student here and now coming back as a professor, having been ordained on campus, the only friar to have that incredible opportunity. The Lord really loves to kind of put His providential fingerprints on the souls and the lives of those of us here. And so my wish is that, just as the culmination of His loving plan for us was the coming of His Son to save us, to redeem us, to draw us to Himself, we would have a deeper appreciation for that loving plan of our God and Father in our lives.